Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. This is another episode 11 of the Naija FC podcast. As always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have my reliable co host with me.
Smith Layi, thanks for joining.
Yes, glad to be here again. We're only about a week or so after our last episode, so we're not giving you guys a long break this time. We have a lot to talk about, I will say. We're going to talk about the weekend's action, just very quickly run you through the performances of several Nigerian players. And then our main focus for this episode is going to be talk about the Super Eagles 40-man provisional list that was, I wouldn't say released by the NFF because they never made an official announcement. But ACL Sports, shout out to them, were able to get their hands on the provisional list, and they released it to the public like journalists usually do when they get any kind of information. So we'll talk about that extensively, share our thoughts on the different players that made the team, the players that didn't make the provisional list, and then a little bit about our thoughts on the AFCON in general. So yeah, let's get into it, Midlai. From the weekend, I'll just touch on a few things. I'll start with one that I know if people are watching this now, they'll say, I beg, leave that one, but I'll talk about it. Francis Uzoho was in action again for Omonia. They played a 2-1 victory in the Cypriot League. I mean, he made 3 saves in the game. He didn't make any error. That's when Uzoho does not make error, we're happy. So he didn't make any error. He made 3 saves. They are giving him a few games leading up to the AFCON. I mean, if anything, we should actually be thanking his club because at least then they help us say, okay, maybe even give your keeper some matches, making they ready for AFCON. Don't be saying go AFCON without playing any game. So second game in a row for Uzoho, shout out to him. I would also talk about Ashley Plumpter in the Saudi Women's League. Fantastic performance for Ashley Plumpter. She scored a hat-trick. As a defender, this is her second hat-trick of the season. I don't know who's playing in that league, but something is not it's not going well. If defender they score 2 hat-tricks in the same season, whenever I even reach halfway, defender don't score 2 hat-tricks. I don't know what's going on in that league. But shout out to Ashley Plumpter. The only thing I will say is that the Saudi Women's League is so hard to track. It's so hard to track. It's been difficult for us to keep up with the games. The information is not that readily available. It's just not easy. But yeah, Ashley Plumpter is there, so we have to do our best to follow the league. But before I go to the next player, what do you think about that? 2 hat-tricks from Ashley.
You know, she's finding it very easy in Saudi Arabia. I can tell you, is a level, is a couple of levels below the English Premier League. I can't remember the last time she scored when she played for Leicester City. So is quite a level, some level below the Premier League. I think the Nigerian League is stronger than Saudi League. the way I see it. Kudos to Ashley Plunter. She's doing her job. Maybe she go be top scorer for the,
Before the
for the
season end,
Saudi League. You never know. So shout out to her.
just very quickly, sticking with the Super Falcons players, we had Christy Uchebe, in action for SL Benfica Feminine. She scored, she made 1 assist, a beautiful cross for their first goal of the game. The only thing now is that the Benfica coach has decided to turn our midfielder into a centre back. I don't know what they do the Benfica coach, but like 5 matches in a row now, she don't put Christy for centre back. So she's doing well there, but at the same time, please play our girl in the midfield. Let her do her job properly. Let us see what we want to see from her. Also, amongst the Super Falcons, Chiamaka Nnadozie was in action for Paris FC Feminine when they played PSG. It was a Paris derby. Unfortunately, she lost the game, 2-1, but she had a decent game. She made 2 saves, she couldn't really do anything about the 2 goals that they conceded. So it was a decent day for her, but of course, unfortunate that her team was not able to get the win. On the other side, on the Paris FC side, Nicole Payne was not in action for PSG. In fact, she was not in the match day squad. I'm not sure if she's injured, but this season she has not really been in the team like that so far this season. But yeah, shout out to Chiamaka Nnadozie, the best goalkeeper in Africa. And then I think one more Super Falcons player that deserves some plaudits for the weekend is Tony Payne. Playing for Sevilla, she scored her third goal of the season, to help Sevilla earn a 1-1 draw in the Spanish La Liga Femenine against Athletic Bilbao. So Tony Payne, third goal of the season. And then switching quickly to the rest of the men, we had Wilfred Ndidi, a good game for Leicester City. They played against Birmingham. They won 3-2. He won 5 duels. He created 2 chances. Again, Ndidi continues to impress in this more attacking role, getting close to the box and being able to make a contribution there. We saw Ademola Lookman, get another assist for Atalanta in their big victory over Salernitana. On the Salernitana side, Chukwubuike Messi was in action for them, a young striker. He joined them this season. Even though they're in the relegation zone, he looks like a good young prospect. So hopefully he can score some goals before the season ends, so that even if they go down, maybe he can stay up in the Serie A. We also saw Chidera Ejuke, 5 dribbles completed, 5 chances created. To create 5 chances in a match, no easy. Unfortunately, all the chances, no assist, because his team was not able to convert. But Ejuke has had a couple games in a row that he's played well. So I'm personally happy to see him coming back, to form after injury and then, trying to revive himself. I would also talk about Victor Olatunji, young striker that plays for Sparta Prague in the Czech league. He came off the bench. He scored the winner for his side, late in the game. So shout out to him. He's been on the bench recently, so hopefully that goal can give the coach a nudge. See, guys, start me, or if you play me, I will score more goals for you. I'll talk about Victor Oko Boniface, still on fire for Bayer Leverkusen in the German Bundesliga. Scored 1 goal, made 1 assist, all round fantastic performance. Bayer Leverkusen are continuing to impress. They are cruising in the league, they're top of the league. And my prayer is that they can win the league, and just dethrone Bayern is something that we want to see.
Yes.
Dortmund fell short last season, so hopefully Leverkusen can dethrone Bayern. And there are already talks that Xabi Alonso will be joining Real Madrid next season. And some people are saying that if he's going to Real Madrid, they will take Boniface with him. Let's see how that goes. And then I think I'll round it off with Victor Osimhen. Over the weekend, Victor Osimhen was in action for Napoli, against Cagliari. And I mean, we saw an amazing performance by Victor Osimhen. He scored with a fantastic header. The leap on this guy. Some of these Osimhen jumps be resembling the kind of jump that Cristiano Ronaldo used to do. The kind of heights that he gets to, he just towers over defenders. Fantastic header. And then of course also we saw what is potentially the assist of the season. Maybe the best assist of 2023. Who knows? Maybe the best assist we'll see all throughout this season. Fantastic assist for Kvaratskhelia. 2-1 victory for Napoli. I mean, fantastic display from Osimhen as well. Smith Layi, very quickly, of all those guys, who were the people that impressed you, and any of your thoughts?
You've mentioned all of them actually performed well, but we have to highlight how Victor Osimhen actually performed. Fantastic player. We all know his ability, we all know his quality. But since he got injured, it's not back to like full fitness. But you can see what he did against Cagliari last weekend. Fantastic player. If you score a goal, they're not talking about your goal. They're talking about your assist to tell you that what you did. Because I like the commentator. He said flamboyant football by Victor Osimhen. What he used to say flamboyant football and everything about that assist. Fantastic player. That's why when Kvaratskhelia scored, he went to him straight away that no, this is not my goal. This is like, when you say you put it on a plate for somebody, that is just the assist. It was put on a plate for Kvaratskhelia. So it's just for him to actually avoid. Fantastic performance from Victor Boniface too. I saw the goal, his first goal. He, when somebody, he had a hand in like 3 goals. They scored the first, made assist. He created, it was his rebounds that Frimpong also scored. Fantastic player. So I think I'm pretty impressed with our players and going well to progress to AFCON. I think we're in good hands. I just hope that they can actually continue. And the girls too. Christy Uchebe, like my favorite player. I know that she doesn't like to play centre back, but if you want to be a team player, be ready to actually play anywhere they will put you. I remember that anytime our defender gets injury or is out of the pitch slightly, they will move out to center defense in the national team too to cover before that person comes out to the pitch. You will see
Mm.
Kriti blocking shots, doing everything. So fantastic player. I'm actually was really happy for her. I just think that a move to the big league could be on a race, could be up for she could be up for a big move very soon.
Oh,
Fantastic performance this last weekend. I hope it continues this weekend.
all right. So yes, that's the round off. Let us know in the comments who was your best performer this past weekend, and who do you think, was maybe underwhelming or underperforming in the weekend's action. Okay, let's move on to the Super Eagles 40-man provisional list for the AFCON 2023. But before we start our conversation, just a quick plug. If you'd like to get your Naija flavored merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, like mine, beanie, phone case, get your name customized on the back of your phone case, and much more. Make sure you check out the website eaglestrackershop.com and get yours today. Rep Nigeria, the AFCON is coming up. Show your support for the national team. We have Nigeria football t-shirts and much more that you can get on the website eaglestrackershop.com, and we ship worldwide, anywhere in the world. As far as you are on planet Earth, we'll get it to you. If you order now, you can get for somebody that is a Nigerian fan as a Christmas gift. So much possibility. Just make sure you check out the website eaglestrackershop.com. Okay, Bismillah, to the list. I think we'll take it position by position. So we'll talk about the goalkeeper. We'll list out the goalkeepers, and then we'll talk about them. We'll go to the defenders, midfielders, and then the forwards. And of course, anybody that's watching, or listening, you can of course engage with us, leave comments, as we carry along with our conversation. We always like to hear your thoughts as well, because nobody every time and they agree with us. So always nice to hear that. Okay, the goalkeepers in this team, Jose Pesero selected 6 goalkeepers for this provisional list. And I think the thing that immediately stands out, that jumps out of the screen, is 4 of the 6 goalkeepers are home-based goalkeepers. So it seems like of all the positions that we have in the national team, either of two things is either that's where we trust the home base, or now because we don't just get enough foreign-based goalkeepers, so by force we have to put home base there. I'll let you guys decide which one it is. But yes, we have 4 home-based goalkeepers in the squad. The goalkeepers in the squad are as follows. We have Francis Uzoho playing for Muna Nicosia, Cyprus. We have Adebayo Adeleye playing for Hapoel Jerusalem in Israel. We have Ojo Olorunleke playing for Eyimba in Nigeria. We have Stanley Nwabali playing for Chippa United in South Africa. We have Amas Obasoge playing for Bendel Insurance in Nigeria. And Christian Woke playing for Sporting Lagos in Nigeria. First thing first, I'll go. Obviously, there's no Maduka Okoye. That came as a surprise to many people. Maduka Okoye was, of course, the first choice goalkeeper at the last AFCON. So for him to completely miss out of this AFCON, creates a lot of questions about what's going on with him, what's going on with the national team. Do they not trust him? Does he not want to play for Nigeria anymore? Can he not handle the pressure? So many questions that he raises. Another thing that is of note, there's no new foreign-based goalkeeper. So for people that were clamoring for the likes of Jonathan Rashid, unfortunately, he didn't get selected. For people that maybe have been clamoring for the likes of Sebastian Osigwe, unfortunately, he didn't get selected. And then based on this, I would guess that it is between Uzoho and Adeleye for the first choice, to end that first choice. But, it would also be interesting to see if any of the home-based goalkeepers can impress so much in training, in training camp. Can they impress as well as possible to be able to steal that number 1 shirt from one of the 2 foreign-based? What do you think about the goalkeepers, Sumai?
Yes, so for me, I think that him not choosing any of the foreign base, maybe probably doesn't have confidence in any of them. Maybe the scouting reports of those foreign-based goalkeepers did not actually favor them. But for me, I still think that we need to actually widen our net. We need to look for areas that search for areas we can get good goalkeepers. For me, Stanley Wabali have not been part of his plans. He was a former Chan goalkeeper, has been doing well in South Africa, and I think that him coming to the national team too can also really help. But I don't still see him challenging Francis Uzor as a first choice. So I just think that it's going very tough. So if he's going for the 4 goalkeepers, I think he's going to go with the people that have been in camp with him alongside Stanley Nwabali. For me, I still think that it's a problematic area. But the good thing is that Francis Uzor is playing regularly now in Cyprus. So maybe that's going to be a good news going to AFCON. But I still think that there's still a lot of work to be done in that goalkeeping department, because before you know it now, if a goalkeeper gets injured and people they bench the piece for body, we don't want that. We want people to be ready and be determined, so that we can actually represent us very well. That's the most important thing for me. That is the weak area in that team, and I think we need to work hard to get to do well in that area.
And when you were talking, you said you don't think any of the home-based will be able to displace Francis Uzoho. How about Adebayo Adeleye? Can he displace Uzoho as number 1?
I don't think so. I think I'm a big fan of him, but I don't think he can actually displace him, because they always come together, and Francis Uzoho is always the best in training. So if you are any of things in training, you're gonna be the first choice. So for him too, I think the height might be slightly against him. But I think it's gonna be hard to. The closest goalkeeper I can displace Uzoho in that team, I think it might be Okoye, but he has been excused from the AFCON. I think he wants to focus on his club career. So I think that no goalkeeper. Adley has not been active for a while too. So what do you actually expect? I think he might even struggle to actually even make the team. That's it.
I mean, based on the things that we are saying, it doesn't read well, for us, given that most of our goalkeepers are either struggling, not playing, going through one issue or the other. But hopefully all this is a moot point, and we're not talking about it come the AFCON. We know that we're talking about it at the last one. We're talking about it the one before that, when it was Akpeyi that people said should have saved free kick. In 2021, it was Okoye that should have saved shot. So hopefully 2023, we are not talking about our goalkeeper at the end of the AFCON. Okay, let's move to the defenders. Lots of defenders in the squad. We have Olaino playing for Nottingham Forest in England. We have Bright Osai Samuel for Fenerbahce in Turkey. We have Tyrone Ebuehi for Empoli in Italy. Jamilu Collins for Cardiff in England. Zedu Sanusi for Porto in Portugal. Bruno Onyemaechi for Boavista in Portugal. William Troost-Ekong for PAOK in Greece. Semilogo Ajayi for West Brom in England. Calvin Bassey, Fulham in England. Kenneth Omeruo for Kashimpasa in Turkey. Kevin Akpoguma for Hoffenheim in Germany. Chidozie Awaziem for Boavista in Portugal. And then Jordan Torunariga for Ghent in Belgium. Is there any defender that you are surprised to see on this list?
Yeah, I think I'm not surprised to with any defender here, because those you actually see, those you mentioned, the list you actually just called out there, those guys have been with Jose Pacero one time or the other since he was national team coach. So I don't expect him to bring a new defender now. So I'm not surprised with the list of players that actually just called out, because they have been with him in camp one time or the other during his tenure as national team coach. So I'm not surprised, but I'm just thinking that I want to know who he's going to pick between Ekong and Awaziem. That's going to be very interesting.
Okay. And is there anybody that you thought was going to make the list but is not on the list?
Yes, William Balogun. Leo Balogun is, that comes to mind straight away because I think that he wasn't doing well before. He wasn't having games, but of recent now, in the past 3 weeks or so, has been playing well for Rangers, both in the league and in the cup games. He wasn't registered for the Europa League, so he wasn't getting games there. When they changed their manager, I think the new manager believed in him. So, that was what is happening. But I don't think he earned it. I don't think he played enough to get into the 40-man list. I think the list have been concluded since before he started getting game time. So I'm not surprised that Jose Pacero actually left him out of the team. But I think that he can, we need him. But the coach knows the best. So I think he has made the decision to just stick by that decision. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, Leon Balogun is somebody that a lot of people were definitely talking about when they saw the list, his omission. We know the partnership that he formed with AFCON, the Rainbow War. We also know that he's one of our most intelligent players and one of our, one of the leaders in our defense. So, unfortunate for him not to be able to go to this AFCON. He's 35 years old now, so he's not a young player. But he could still provide a wealth of experience. And of course, in a 40-man list, one would have thought that maybe he will get a chance to go to camp and to earn his spot. But overall, I think it's a pretty balanced defensive selection. Top players playing in different leagues around the world. Most of them are playing in top divisions in Europe, whether it be England, whether it be Belgium, whatever the case may be, Germany. 2 of them in Turkey, 2 of them in Portugal. So we should be able to do well regardless of the players that are selected. Hopefully, again, defenders are not a cause for conversation at the end of this tournament. For me, I think it would be interesting to see how he selects his fullbacks. And I think it would be a close call, amongst those fullbacks. I think, the Jamilu Collins, Zedu Sanusi, Bruno, probably only 2 out of the 3 of them will go. And then Olaino, Osai Samuel, and Ebuehi, probably only 2 out of the 3 of them will go as well. Right now, we would think we know who those 2 are going to be. But again, anything can happen when it's time. Camp, anybody can impress. God forbid, but human beings, people can also get injured. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, moving on to the midfielders. We have Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester City of the English EFL Championship. We have Frank Onyeka playing for Brentford in the English Premier League. We have Joe Aribo playing for Southampton in the English Championship. We have Alex Iwobi playing for Fulham in the English Premier League. We have Alassane Youssouf playing for Real Antwerp in Belgium. We have Fisayo Dele Bashiru playing for Hatayspor in Turkey. We have Rafael Onyedika playing for Club Brugge in Belgium. And then Kelechi Umakali playing for GB Chavez in Portugal. I'll start by asking you this question, Smith. Alassane Youssouf. Everybody, a lot of people have been asking in previous squads, why is Alassane Youssouf not getting called up? What does he need to do to get called up? What does he need to get called up? Now he's part of the 40-man provisional list. Do you think realistically that Alassane Youssouf can go to the AFCON?
No, if you look at, I'm a big fan of Alassane Youssouf, and I think that his work is worked hard enough to actually be in this 40-man team list. But the issue basically is that it doesn't really add anything to our midfield that much. The only, a lot of people can argue that he's got a lot of energy to burn in that midfield than any of the midfielders we actually would have, because if you look at it now, Didi is not he's not younger anymore. You can see saves for any other players there too. But him and Frank Onyeka, they are the ones that can track players, that can run, chase players down and other things like that. So that is what Alassane can bring to the team. To chase players down the counter like ball, how to launch counter attack, run into space and everything. So, it's 27-man list, but you never know. It could actually make it. But I don't think that the quality is really ahead of the guys the other guys that have been called up initially for me.
Mm. I would agree with you. While I like him, I like what he brings to the team. If everybody is fit, I just think it will be difficult. When you look at the defensive midfielder options that we have, in Didi, we have Frank Onyeka, we have Rafael Onyedika. Those three seem to be for sure ahead of him. If he really wanted to compete with somebody, maybe he's competing with Rafael Onyedika. Considering the
Mhm.
fact that they both play in the same league. But then the difference is that Rafael Onyedika has been part of the Super Eagles squad. For the past few occasions. Like Coach Pesero has seen what he can offer and what he can bring to the side. So if I think about it, I don't really see Alassane Yusuf making the squad. And I mean, I'm not saying they should not have put him on the 40-man list, but when he finally gets selected, only for him to now be chopped off eventually, it will be a little bit painful if that does happen. But at the same time, maybe he can just go into that camp and he can surprise us and he can show himself. I'm sure he
Mhm.
too will want to fight for his spot. So let's see what happens. Knock on wood, everybody stays healthy. So that's not a reason for anybody to miss out on the tournament. The next person that I'll ask you about is Kelechi Nwakali. Kelechi Nwakali is a player that divides opinions. When you ask people about Kelechi Nwakali and the Super Eagles, some people are all for him. Oh, we need a creative midfielder. We need somebody that can take set pieces. We need somebody that can pass the ball. Call Nwakali up. That's what some people say. Whereas there are some people that you ask them about Kelechi Nwakali in Super Eagles, and they will first, please, what's that one doing? Which club does he play for? Oh, the boy has not done anything in his career. He has not progressed like we want him to. So Smith Layi, which part of that conversation do you stand? Are you in favor of Nwakali and his inclusion in the Super Eagles, or do you think the boy is not doing anything and we don't really need him in the team?
For me, Kelechi Wakali, a lot of people still look at what he did during the 17 World Cup in 2015 to judge him now. I think it's unfair because 2015 now is how many years ago? 80 years ago. Some have not even watched him since the last AFCON,
Mm,
and you want to judge. He was in camp with Coach Osimhen during the last AFCON, and
mm,
he only played the last game. Like, it's not as if he's part of the starting lineup. Adebo was ahead of him, playing in that same team
mm,
in that last AFCON. So it's not a player that is that Nigerian coaches have not seen in close quarters. But when people see talk about set pieces, is it only set pieces that's going to have a player for?
in the Euro
What
tournament.
about other part of the game? Yes, set pieces. So when you want to break out, you bring him on. When you want to no, he's only just set pieces. I just
Mm,
think that he's a good player by his own right, but he's in his national team. I'm just looking at it like it's the national team.
mm,
We need a player better than the ones we have
mm,
in that midfield. That is it. We need a player better than the ones we have. A lot of people have been saying that it's a deep line playmaker. I agree with that too, but it can get passes from the defense and throw it from the defense. But apart from that, what else again can you offer the team? Apart from that, so you need to look at those areas. For example, now, if you look at the strengths and the weaknesses now, a lot of people might probably even take Joaribo still ahead of him. So it's or Alex Iwobi, ahead of him. So you have to look at overall impact the player will have on the team, not just a particular area. Overall impact. Then you now weigh it. Maybe this player is
mm.
to be there. For me, I think that. I think that he needs to, I just wish him luck if he could move to a team that can be challenging for places in that position, in his position very well.
Mm,
I think I will now come with that discussion.
mm. And I would say I agree, for the most part. He needs to be able to impress in his all-round game. Set pieces are a big part of the game, no doubt. But like you
Hmm.
rightly said, you know, it's not only set pieces that are going to happen. You have to be involved in the game throughout. Can he control the tempo of our play? Can he run the midfield? Can he run the middle of the park for us? That's something that we're not 100% sure of. And we kind of know that or we know what we are going to get with the Iwobis, with the Ndidis, with the Onyeka, with the Onyedikas. with the Aribos, even Aribo that's not playing too much, we know what we are going to get from them. So I think it would also be a very difficult one for Coach Pesero to pick him ahead of those people. But I also think that the ball is partly in his court, and it is up to him to go into that training camp and to show himself. If he goes into that camp and he's showing so much quality, I think he has a chance of making the team. I will say that I honestly think he has a chance of making the team because of his attacking quality. But how much of it can he show, and how much confidence can he give to the coach that even when he is not taking set pieces, when he is not, spraying passes, he still provides the right balance for the team. He's still working hard. He's still, in the right position at the right time. He's not causing any lapses. That's what the coach needs to decide. I think in any game that we are dominating possession, I think Nwakali's quality will probably show in a game like that. But in other games, how well can he impose himself? Is he somebody that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and take charge from that midfield position? Is yet to be seen. He's not going to drive the ball forward. He's not somebody that will pick up the ball and drive and run with it. It's mostly about his passing. Maybe you want to say that if you put players ahead of him, the likes of the Bonifaces, the likes of the Lookmans ahead of him, you'll be able to say that, okay, he gets the ball and he, splits that pass that breaks the midfield line, that takes the ball to the forward in right position, and they have, a good run against the defenders. Maybe that's what he's able to do. I can see it a little bit that, okay, he can play midfield dissecting pass, and then Boniface gets the ball, in front of a defender. We know Boniface is good in one-on-one situations. Or Lookman gets the ball and he has a chance to run at the defender. But then he needs to prove himself at the, in the training camp. Right now, I still think that he's an outlier to make the team. But I honestly believe that, he has like a 40% chance. I honestly think he has like a 40% chance. And it's up to him to go and show why he should be in a team like this. Because frankly, even though he's playing well for his club, it's not really exciting us for us to say, okay, that's the reason why we should call him up. It's all about, I think, what he does when he goes to camp, and as compared to the rest of the players. Let me also ask you about. I wouldn't ask about the guys that we, Ndidi, we know what to expect from him as long as his fit is in the squad. It will be, we know what to expect. But Fisayo Dele Bashiru, you know, was called up for the first time a couple months ago, is now in this 40-man list again. Do you think that Dele Bashiru can actually stamp himself? I was just saying that I think Wakali has like a 40% chance. And I didn't even mention Dele Bashiru is one of the people that he's competing with for that spot if he's supposed to get in. Do you think Dele Bashiru has a good chance of making the final list, or you think that this AFCON is too early for him?
For me, I think if you're going to give Wakali 40%, you might probably give him 40% chance of actually making it, because, Pacero, I've seen him in close quarters, and Pacero thought that, okay, I've seen you, I can put you in my 40-man list. But don't forget that, he didn't make the qualifier list. But, if you're talking about like a modern day attacking player, a ball carrier, a guy that can say, okay, I want to like get into the box. Again, I want to latch on, like, I want to shoot from the edge of the area. Bashiru can do those things. So I think it depends on what the coach wants. But for me, I think in that team, what we are lacking mostly is a ball carrier. Since the unavailability of Oganekaro Etebo, we've not been able to see someone that can just say, okay, I want to move the ball forward. I don't care if they can actually slide tackle me, they can tackle me, I want to move the ball forward. Bashiru can do that. Okay, and secondly too, he can also like score goals. That's one thing about him. So I don't know the last time Makai scored too, but they play different positions, which is actually what very, it's unfair to actually compare the two of them together. But for me, I think for him to be the 40-man list is good. We still have another AFCON in 2025. So if he comes to camp, then I'm pretty sure that he'll be back in the next AFCON in Morocco. That's one thing. Yeah.
Um, okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the attackers. Let's move on to the attackers very quickly. This is a position that, of course, we are going to be looking towards for the goals. For our progression to the next round. This is a position that we believe that we have a lot of quality players playing in top teams in top leagues around the world in Europe. Um, this is also a position that, since the list was announced, has also stirred a lot of reactions from fans and from people on social media, because of certain persons that are on the list. So the attackers in this 40-man list: Victor Osimhen playing for SSC Napoli in the Italian Serie A, Victor Boniface playing for Bayer Leverkusen in the German Bundesliga, Terry Murphy playing for OGC Nice in the French Ligue 1. We have Umar Sadiq playing for Real Sociedad in the Spanish La Liga. We have Paul Onuachu playing for Trabzonspor in the Turkish Super League. We have Cyril Dessers playing for Rangers FC in the Scottish Premiership. We have Ademola Lookman playing for Atalanta BC in the Italian Serie A. Nathan Teller playing for Leverkusen in the German Bundesliga. We have Moses Simon playing for Nantes in the French Ligue 1. We have Emmanuel Dennis playing for Istanbul Başakşehir in the Turkish Super League. We have Samuel Chukwueze playing for AC Milan in the Italian Serie A. We have Kelechi Iheanacho playing for Leicester City in the English Championship. And then we have Ahmed Musa playing for Sivasspor in the Turkish Super League. When this list came out, a lot of people started talking about the attacking options. Some players will riot if they're not in the squad. We expect Osimhen to be there. We know his quality. He's our best striker. We expect Boniface to be there because we see how well he's playing for Bayer Leverkusen. We see the quality that he has. We see that he wants to compete with Osimhen to be our top striker. We know what he can offer. Of course, he's going to be there. And then there were some people that fans were like, huh? How? How did he make this list? Ahmed Musa, a lot of people thought, oh, Ahmed Musa has missed out on the last couple Super Eagles squads. They've not been calling him up recently, so maybe he will not be there. But lo and behold, he was selected in the 40-man list. Some people felt like Umar Sadiq, he doesn't really do much for the Super Eagles. When he plays, he doesn't impress. He's only come back from an injury. Yes, he scored 2 goals, but other than that, he's not really done so much for Sociedad this season. I was surprised to see him there. I think another player that a lot of people reacted to seeing his name was Emmanuel Dennis, playing for Başakşehir in Turkey. First thing is that Nigerians already don't have fond memories of Emmanuel Dennis. We remember what he did in the friendly against Portugal when he fought for penalty and he went to go and miss. We know that Dennis doesn't have a good reputation already. And then if you also look at the fact that it's not like he's doing anything in his team right now, with all due respect to him, he's not scoring goals, he's not making assists, he's not even playing that much football for Başakşehir in Turkey. So it's like, how did Emmanuel Dennis make the team? I think that one is the one that shocked me the most. Ahmed Musa's own, I wasn't even shocked. Umar Sadiq, I wasn't even shocked. But Emmanuel Dennis really shocked me, And then I guess it kind of led people to the question of what happened to Chuba Akpom? What happened to Gift Urban? What do these players need to do to get selected? So I'll just throw it to you very quickly. Dennis, Musa, Sadiq, what are your thoughts on their inclusion in this team?
So the Dennis inclusion is actually what I don't have any explanation for that because I don't know how the coach was able to actually include him in that list. He has not been playing well, and we know that he's not been performing even well for Nigeria anytime that he's been called upon. So I don't know why the coach included him, but I knew that maybe it's like a placeholder or he's gonna get dropped. For Suman Sadiq, we know that due to something I cannot actually say, we know that he has to be there. He's playing for the what's it called? He plays in the Spanish La Liga. He scored like 2 goals. Umar Sadiq is a player I like a lot, and Umar Sadiq can come and do something. That is one thing. He can come and do something. He's a fighter. He's a guy that you cannot really predict him. He's a guy that can actually want to do something. So I'm a very big fan of Umar Sadiq about that. So, but if you look at the whole combination of everything, I won't fault his selection except for Chuba Akpom. And maybe the only explanation is that Chuba Akpom just joined a new club. He's just settling down in Ayas. I think that because he just settling down, he might need to actually what to play for a while before he gets his confidence back. And for Gift Urban, originally he was supposed to be in the team, but there's still issues surrounding his eligibility for Nigeria. So
Mm.
as soon as that one is sorted, I think Gift Urban will be ready to actually to wear the green white jersey. For now, if Gift Urban play for Nigeria, he might be banned from AFCON.
Okay. Very, very interesting. I also think that um Umar Sadiq is a very interesting player. I like him. He has quality. I would argue this that he's a good player. He has quality. I think the biggest thing that works against Umar Sadiq, and I guess it's not really his fault, is how God made him, is that he always looks clumsy. He always looks like he's not sure about what he's doing. Even when like he does amazing things. Look at the goals that he scored for his club over the past few weeks. Before he took the shots, you self go to wonder, say, waiting this guy want to do, waiting this guy to do with the ball. And all of a sudden, he shoots and like, whoa, top corner. It's like, did you know that Sadiq can do something like this? But that's the thing. I've watched him play games. In any match he plays, every 10 minutes, he will fall down 2 times. When he's running, he will just fall down. You will just be like, who is this one that can ever run with ball? So he's so clumsy. I think the word maybe that I should use to describe him so that he's not disrespectful is he's very unorthodox. When you think of the way a professional footballer should move with the ball, the way they should be able to have balance, the way they should be able to run, he's very unorthodox. He's not like that. So a lot of people don't understand him and what he brings. And I guess it also does not help that it's not as if, he has an amazing goal scoring record for Nigeria. He's not been that terrible. He's never been like, the starting choice of striker. But when he comes on and he doesn't score, to those people that already don't like him, it kind of just reaffirms what they think. If he comes and plays 15 minutes and he doesn't score, it will just reaffirm what they think, that see, this guy cannot offer anything to the team. So I personally, I'm not surprised that he's included, but I understand why a lot of people, do not quite like him. But Onuachu, I think Onuachu's own, I don't really expect Onuachu to make the final team. But he's doing well for Trabzonspor. He's been part of the team in the past. He's been a third choice striker for us for a long time. So yeah, he deserves a chance to go into that camp and to show his qualities, to show his worth. And who knows? Maybe he can just snatch that third spot again. Who really knows? I think Cyril Dessers also is going to be difficult for Cyril Dessers to make the final selection. He's been doing okay. I would describe it as okay for Rangers this season. Some poor games, some good games. Very up and down performances from him. So I think it's going to be difficult for him. Certain players like Moses Simon, I think are for sure going. Samuel Chukwueze, Kelechi Iheanacho for sure going. As long as they are fit, knock on wood. And then I think Nathan Teller is also an outlier, to make the team. He may get selected, may not get selected. It really depends on what he can do. I think right now I'll put Nathan Teller at maybe like a 40% chance of getting selected. But then how much can he do in training? How much can he impress? Can he, show the coach that he is the best man for the job? I think all this remains to be seen for sure. So yeah, I think overall, I would say out of this 40 man squad, I probably agree with the selection of maybe 35 of the 40 players. I'm fully in agreement. And then the remaining 5, I'm a little bit shaky. It's like, maybe not, could you have selected this other person instead? But then I think the interesting part would really be when the squad gets trimmed down to, I believe it's 27 players going to the AFCON, if I'm not mistaken. So when the squad gets trimmed down to 27, I think that's where we would really now start to have conversations about, who is going, what area they can really offer, quality, in the team. how they can perform with the rest of the players. And I'm honestly hoping, that there will be one or two surprises. You know, I always like surprises. I always like these things that give us more and more conversations to have. So let's see when the final squad is out. I'm going to hope that there'll be more surprises. Okay, so what are your final thoughts on this 40-man professional squad? Do you agree with the selection?
It's good. It's I can't fault the selection of
Oh,
really anybody except Menendez. But I think that if there's no injury, I think the 27 there is actually what is ready. So I
oh,
want to say my prediction now for the 27 man list. So I
okay.
want this thing to be recorded, and I want to see my how much I will score at the end when the list is actually what out. So I prepare for this, and I'm going to actually what say it. So the goalkeepers will be Francis Uzor, Adebayo Adeleye, Ojo Olorunleke, and Stanley Nwabali. I
Mm,
said it's go before goalkeepers. 27-man list. Defenders are going to be Ola Aina, Bright Osai Samuel, Zedu Sanusi, Bruno Onyemechi, William Strauss Ekong, Semi Ajayi, Calvin Bassi, Kenneth Omero. In the
mm,
midfield, I think Wilfred Onye Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, Joe Aribo, Alex Iwobi, Raphael Onyedika Nwadike. Up front, I believe it's going to be Victor Osimhen, Victor Boniface, Terry Murphy, Umar Sadiq, Ahmed Musa, Ademola Lukman, Nathan Teller, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, and Kelechi Iheanacho.
mm. And that's 27 players exactly.
Yes, 27 players, yes.
Okay. As you were talking, I was thinking of my own selection as well, and I think we are almost fully in agreement. Let me just do my own. I didn't write my own down beforehand, so
Okay.
I'm going to try to make sure that I keep it to 27. But I think with the four goalkeepers, Uzoho Adeleye, Olorunleke Ojo, and Stanley Nwabali, I think I agree with those four.
Mhm.
How many defenders did you choose?
I choose 8 defenders.
Okay. So my defenders as well, Olaino for sure, Osai Samuel, I think so as well. Zedu Sanusi, um, Bruno Onyemaechi, William Trust Ekong, Semi Ajayi, Calvin Bassi, Kenneth Omero. I think for sure those are the ones that are going to be there. Akpo Guma, I don't really think he's going to make it. He's not even really playing that much for Hoffenheim. And Coach Pesero has not seen him as much as he has seen the other options. I think that's the same with Awaziem. And Torunariga, he's new in the squad. He's only played, I think, one match for Nigeria so
Mhm.
far. So I think he's going to be an outsider. So I think that's the same thing he selected. I would agree with that.
Mhm.
Midfielders, how many did you select for midfield?
5.
Five. So midfielders, I'll go with the same no. I don't know. Am I selecting? Okay, we're predicting. So I won't select
Yeah.
what I want. I'll select what I think is going to happen. So I would also go with Indidi, Onyeka, Aribo, Iwobi, and Rafael Oyedika.
Mhm.
And then for the attackers, I would go Victor Osimhen, Victor Boniface, Tere Murphy, Umar Sadiq, Ahmed Musa, Ademola Lukman, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, Kelechi Iheanacho, and I think my final one is the one that I'm a little bit torn. I will go for my final attacker. Let me just see very quickly. I chose Osimhen, Boniface, Murphy, Sadiq. That's already four strikers. So it has to be a winger. So if it has to be a winger, it's probably going to be Nathan Teller. But if it was up to me, Ahmed Musa will not be in the squad.
Mhm.
If it was up to me, I would leave Ahmed Musa out and I would take in his place, I will take a midfielder. I'll probably take Dele Bashir if it was up to me. I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably leave Ahmed Musa out and take Dele Bashiru. So I think, in fact, my prediction is the same as your prediction. Honestly, I think I have to agree with your prediction. It seems like the most obvious one, the most obvious choice. Um, but my preference, I would change Ahmed Musa for Dele Bashiru so that Dele Bashiru just brings a little bit of attacking quality in our midfield. And
Mm-hmm.
the reality of it is that we know that Ahmed Musa is not going to start for us, and he's not going to offer much quality off the bench. With all due respect to him, there's nothing that he really wants to do on the field that Lukman or Simon or Chukwueze or Iheanacho or Teller
Mm-hmm.
is not going
Mm-hmm.
to do for us. So yeah, let's see. Let's see how close we come to the final list when it's released. I believe the deadline for them to submit is January 3rd. So we'd expect the final list around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Around that time. Okay. I think this went quicker than I expected. Um, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I wish a player like Chidera Ejuke, could have made this team. It
Mm-hmm.
would have been interesting to see what Ejuke can offer as well. He's
Mm-hmm.
back in form. Obviously, we know that he's not really been playing
Mm-hmm.
at a good level for a while. He got injured. He came back, playing for a
Mm-hmm.
relegation team. Went to Antwerp. He's just finding his feet now. I wish he could have made the 40-man list ahead of Musa.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's please, anybody that is watching or listening, I don't hate Musa. I just think that there are other players that have more quality. I understand the value of leadership, but I
Mm-hmm.
also think that there are already enough leaders. I think that
Yeah.
Ekong is a leader. I think that Omeruo is a leader. I think that Indidi is a leader. So I think that there are already enough leaders in the team. These are players that have been to World Cup, have been to AFCON in the past. So they have as much experience as Ahmed Musa, really. We know Ahmed Musa is the senior player, has been there for the longest, but they have as much experience playing in tournaments and in competitions that I don't think we need to take a weak link, quote unquote, to the squad. But at the end of the day, we made a select team. But yeah, another one that I think maybe if we are going to get something wrong in the defense, maybe we get Jamilu Collins wrong. We left him out, but who knows? Maybe coach can just decide to take Jamilu Collins ahead of maybe Zedu, I don't know, or ahead of Bruno. I doubt, but who knows? Who knows what can happen? For the center backs, I think we chose Ekong, we chose Ajayi, we chose Basi, we chose Omeru. So 4 center backs. Yeah, I think those are the center backs that have been most frequently in the side. Even though Ekong has been out of the side recently, but I think if he stacks up against Torunariga, against Awaziem, he'll probably get in ahead of them, especially with his quality that he has brought into the Super Eagles in the past. He's one of the captains in the team. He's the vice captain. Um, he'll probably get selected as well. And for me, I always say, I remember the goal he scored against South Africa. At the last, was it the last one or the one in 2019?
2019.
So 2019, so Ekong, he has AFCON experience, good AFCON experience, and he can bring something into the side.
Yes, I want to ask you something. So now you mentioned Ekong, vice captain, Musa, captain. We have like 5 captains. Now, who should be your captain in Cameroon, in Ivory Coast? We have
Ivory
Osimhen. Two
Coast.
people are
I
mentioning
mean,
Osimhen. Undidi is there.
no, Osimhen for me is out of it. I don't think Osimhen needs to be captain. I don't think Osimhen should be captain. I don't necessarily see Osimhen when I watch him play. I don't see him acting like a captain. I see him as the best player in the team. I see him as our most important player. But I don't necessarily see him as the one that is going to galvanize everybody and motivate, with words, that is going to lead the team in a particular direction. I think Osimhen will do his own leadership with his football. He will just go and play. He will play his heart out. We know that about Osimhen. He will give everything. And I think that's his football will be his own leadership. But as far as the person that is going to organize the team, and one thing is that at these tournaments, captaincy comes with off the field responsibilities as well at these tournaments. Meetings with referees, meetings with tournament staff, meetings with with CAF, different things that you are doing. It's not just about wearing the band and going on the field. it has to be somebody that is a good, organizer that can talk to everybody, that can bring everybody together. So for me, Osimhen is out of it. Based on the 27 that we selected, the captain will be Ahmed Musa because he's the captain. That's
Mm-hmm.
the truth. But on the field, the captain would, for me, be in Didi or Ekong. It depends. If Ekong starts, I think Ekong will be the captain. But if Ekong is on the bench, I think Ndidi will be the captain. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I think Wilfred is the gonna be the captain of the team. I think it's between Simon and Wilfred. But the way
Mm,
things are, I'm not making prediction like this, but I think that Simon might not be starting in AFCON. I just think that Simon might not be starting in AFCON. So I
mm,
think Ndidi will be the captain on the pitch.
mm. Okay. And on that note, let's make another prediction. Let's predict from the 27 we selected, what would be our starting 11 from that 27 players?
Okay, let me go. Just like I'm gonna go with what I want and what I think Marcelo will also do. So I think it's gonna be
Mm,
Francis Tinaka as the goalkeeper, the undisputed first choice, the macho man. So
mm,
it's gonna be the top choice. And it's gonna be the number one. I think the right back. I think the way it is, it's like it's tinting towards Bright Osai somewhere more than Ola, this time around. But two good options in the central defense. I think that is the one that you cannot dispute. It's Kevin Bassi and Semi Ajayi. I don't think it's going to be another defensive player. It's Kevin Bassi and Semi Ajayi. Left back,
mm,
I think it's going to be Ziedu Sanusi as a
mm,
left back. So it's not going to be Bruno or Yemechi now. I think it's going to be Ziedu this time around. I think in the midfield, I think it's going to be the same thing too. 4-4-2 formation is unrepentant formation. So it's going to be 4-4-2. So in the right, it's going to probably be Samuel Chukwueze, the right,
mm,
Lukman on the left, and what's it called? In the midfield, it's going to be Alex Iwobi and Wilfred Ndidi. Then up front, it's going to be Victor Osimhen and Victor Boniface. So
mm.
that is what we, barring any injury, that is what we select. We see what I was
So
talking about.
Kelechi on the bench.
It's going to be on the bench. Kelechi can come in for Chukwueze.
Mm. Okay. I think for me, I think I would go Uzoho in goal. I think, yeah, Uzoho in goal. Right back, Bright Osai Samo. I think yes. Center backs, I agree. Calvin Bassi and Shemi Ajayi. Left back is where I disagree. I think I'll go Bruno Onyemaechi at left back. I think Bruno offers more balance to the side. And left back. Um, I also agree with you that he's going to go with 4-4-2. Whichever style of 4-4-2 he chooses to use, I think is going to be 4-4-2.
Mm-hmm.
In the center of the park, we're going to have Ndidi and Iwobi,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. On the
Mm-hmm.
right, I also agree is going to be Chukwueze. Even though I think if Chukwueze messes up one game, Iheanacho will start the second game.
Mm-hmm.
But I also agree that Chukwueze is going to be on the right. On the left, funny enough, I think Moses Simon will start. Um, I think Moses Simon will start. And I think he'll probably start the first match, and then maybe they might bench him in the second game. But on the left, I'll go. I'll go with Moses Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And then up front, I would go with Victor Osimhen and Victor Boniface. With Victor Boniface playing, to the left and slightly behind Victor Osimhen, whereas Victor Osimhen is the target man, is the main, point man, and then Boniface can act, as a conduit between the midfield and the attack, to also just help to create opportunities, while also trying to get us goals of his own. So overall, it's going to be interesting. That squad that we just selected now, the 27-man squad, can that 27-man squad win AFCON?
Yes, they can actually win the AFCON. I think that we can win the AFCON. That is my prediction. I think that
Mm,
we can win the AFCON. I think we can win the AFCON and it's going to surprise a lot of people. That's
mm.
my understanding. We might
Okay.
wumble and fumble, but just wait.
Hmm.
We are not going to take the golden bronze. It's going to be the gold, the real gold this time around, not the golden bronze.
So not the golden bronze. Okay.
Yeah, not the
I
golden
think
bronze. Yeah.
that brings us to the end of our episode 11, to the end of this conversation. If you disagree with anything that we said, feel free to leave it in the comments, and we'll engage with you over there. If you agree with us, also let us know, so that it's not only negative comments. Let us have positive comments if you agree with us. And then I'll throw the same questions to you guys, our audience. Do you think the Super Eagles can win the AFCON? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Super Eagles can win the AFCON? And also let us know in the comments what your own 27-man squad is going to be. From the 40 players that have been selected for the provisional list, let us know in the comments what your own 27-man squad is going to be. And hopefully, whatever happens, the coach chooses the right options and we can go there and impress. Should like a final word before we go?
I just want to appreciate everybody for actually tuning in, and also, it's your encouragement that's keeping us going. Just continue to actually subscribe to the channel, continue to like the videos, engage with us. We are ready for actually what you. And don't forget to there's going to be exclusive content from the AFCON on Ghana Football, and also on Eagles Trackers, So it's going to be very, very lovely. Just we'll keep on serving you back for back. I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy us. So please leave the comments, subscribe to the channel, keep on doing it. The end, and we actually want to enjoy you.
Yes, and on that note, thank you very much, guys. As always, my name is AyoT, and my reliable co-host is.
Smith Layi.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.